Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 4, Honeymoon Hiccups. And now that we're getting really close to getting into the honeymoons, I think it's time that we can start going couple by couple. Now, remind y'all, I only do this for Married at First Sight. This is the only show I go couple by couple because, it's an hour and a half long, so it's a lot of information. But before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Y'all know I'm trying to keep going and to grow, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video. We're going in no particular order. We're just going to start off with Jasmine and Eris. I always feel like I'm saying his name wrong, so if I am, I apologize. But we start off with the wedding night, and we see all the couples, and Married at First Sight really done stepped it up with the rings. I ain't hear near mention of JamesAllen.com, so I don't know where they got the rings from this season, but I remember, honey, they used to have basic bands. That was it. If you was still together after decision day and your man wanted to upgrade you, he could do that. But honey, we ain't doing it. Find somebody else. Now they right off the bat coming out here with the bling bling of it all. So back at their suite, Eric seems like he's starting to open up a little more. They're kissing, and he said he really enjoyed himself at the wedding. But Jasmine is a little nervous because she's like, I gotta take off all my makeup. His first impression of me was me all done up, and now he's gonna see me in my natural state. So she's nervous about that. But honey, you look the same barefaced as you do with the makeup on, to be quite frank. Like, she's pretty either way. Aaron said he's tired, he ready for bed, until Jasmine came out with that sexy nightie on. Honey, he perked up real quick. Like, oops, I'm up now. I'm up. But I think that they might be the first to consummate the marriage, and they might be one of those couples who do what they always do every season, lie about it. It might come out later on. Like, I think they might do it early on before everybody else, and then try to keep it a secret. But that's just what I'm guessing right now. So the next morning, they fake waking up because the night before, they was like, she was laying on his chest. And then the next morning, they're doing this fake wake up scene where she's still laying on his chest. I thought we were done with pretending like we was waking up with a whole entire camera crew sitting there. I guess not. So the food comes. It's breakfast time. And she is the only wife to get up out the bed and go get breakfast. Granted, I guess she was on the side closest to the door, but like, it's telling, because that's not the first time she, bending over backwards and he ain't doing nothing. And it surely won't be the last. So then he complains about her eating bacon, talking about the swine of it all. And you know what? During the wedding ceremony, or, the reception, he was saying he don't care if she eats meat. So if you don't care, then don't care. Don't complain and be like, oh, I see you with that swine, trying to joke about it. Nah, let me eat my bacon in peace. So Eris meets with Jazz family, and they're joking around like one big happy family, like they'd been knowing each other for years, honey. Her dad said, he's counting on Eris to basically step up and be the man of her life because that's always been his role. So now he's relying on him to take that on. I hope he doesn't disappoint because, honey, it seemed like, he want to sit back and he want to be catered to, okay? It seemed like he want to be courted. But, that's just what I'm gathering right now. So Jasmine meets with Eris family and his cousin acting up again per usual. I don't know if they'll ever get along at this point, because judging from the tone of the after party, it seemed like Jazz still don't see it for Miss Thang. But the producers asked the cousin what she thinks about his new wife, and she bust out laughing. And it was like, what? That was kind of rude. And she was like, it's just, oh my gosh, like I said, wife, like I can't even believe. Honey, believe it. It's done and over with. You was there, you saw it, you saw them exchange vows. That's his wife. So cousin asked Jazz if she's lived with a man before, and she said she has. And so they want to know, like, when, how long ago? She said 7 months ago. Now that is a little soon, very soon. That would be a red flag in my eyes. That would cause for some concern, because 7 months ago. But she said, you know what? She was mentally checked out beforehand. Like, when you finally end it, it's usually over before you even come out and say it. And while that's fine, cousin feels like that was a pageant answer. They're like, oh, you just gave her all the right answers. You a pageant girl. You just know what to say. Maybe she's just telling the truth. Either way, she married to your cousin now. So whatever happened 7 months ago is 7 months ago. So after meeting with the families, Jazz said that the cousin, because he was like, how was it? And she was like, was it? She was like, look, your cousin had your back. AKA, she was doing the most. She was doing too much. But he just kind of brushed past it. And then he was like, well, we got support with our parents, XYZ. No, you need to check that cousin. You need to get her together. Get her in order. This is your wife now, okay? So she said she gonna leave. She got to get her hair braided because they about to go on a honeymoon, and the black girls always got to get their vacation braids. So the couples meet, and when they're getting ready to go to Jamaica. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over it. They found out they were going to Jamaica for their honeymoon. He's never been. She said she's been before. This isn't her first time. She said she had a ball in Jamaica. I've been wanting to go. I told y'all somewhere before on a previous review that I wanted to go to Jamaica for my 30th. Honey, that was a couple years ago, and it ain't happened yet. So I got to make that happen. If y'all been in Jamaica, let me know down in the comments. But as they're meeting to get ready to go, Aris tells everyone he looking forward to intimacy. And Clint said he was frothy at the mouth. Clint, Mr. 65 plus women, was like, look, shh, you saying too much, chatty patty. Yes, this has been my concern since he stepped on the scene. All he talks about is sex. That's all he cares about. That's all he thinks about. He said disrespectfully, respectful, it don't matter. Like, what else? What else is going on? Like, okay, yes, that may come if y'all get to that point. And it seemed like she, would have been down for it, but that's all you're talking about, and it's becoming a turnoff. So they arrive at Jamaica. Everyone has great rooms, great views, a nice big old jacuzzi tub. So Eric sits in the tub and he wants Jasmine to feed him grapes. Like, he want to feel like the king. And she's like, oh, you are king, husband. Honey, you don't know him yet. Okay. And all this, is he going to reciprocate it? When is he going to reciprocate it? Because he want her to jump up and do all these things. But when is he going to do that for Jasmine? And I don't want to hear nothing about no, I'm an only child. I don't want to hear it. So moving on, we have Gina and Clint. So Clint carries Gina over the honeymoon threshold. And Gina, she has compliments for Clint in her confessional, even though she said in the after party that she wasn't attracted to him. So I'm confused. But okay, because she was singing a different tune, telling a different tale. But maybe when she got to know him, she realized she don't like him, and now she's trying to play it off in the after party. Clint is laying in bed, unwashed, with his chest hair all out, giving very much 1970s realness. He said they're both attracted to each other. We'll see next week, because judging by them previews, honey, I don't know. So the next morning, Clint said they did not consummate the marriage, even though he did want to, but then he said something about their kids might see this one day, whatever. So during breakfast, Gina talks about work again. And Gina, Miss Ma'am, who are you outside of your job? I don't know if they just editing it this way, but what else you got going on? Like, I thought that's why her ex had a problem. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that's why her ex had to end it all. Like, what else is going on? Who are you outside of work? So they met with each other's families, and Gina tells his family that, Clint isn't her typical type, but she finds him attractive. I don't know if she's lying or not. Because, just because next week, we'll get there next week. Gina's friends / family said, they think they're similar. They think they have similar personalities. I don't know how, because all she talked about is work, and he ain't talked about work yet. So they find out they're going to Jamaica for their honeymoon, even though Gina thought that was a flag for the Bahamas. Like, she just had her mind on the Bahamas. Like, you've never seen a Jamaican flag before? Okay. So we have Nicole and Chris. And during breakfast, Nicole says she normally doesn't eat in bed because of all the dog hair being everywhere. Yuck. I can't. And I like dogs, but in my bed? Oh no, ma'am. So Nicole says she usually is a late person. Me too, girl. Always. Always. My whole life. I don't know. I can't even say I'm working on it because I'm not. Anyway, Chris said, you can't be late because of makeup because you're naturally pretty. And that moved Nicole to tears. Like, she begins to break down and says no one has ever treated her so well before. And that's sad. It's sad. Every woman and everybody deserves to genuinely just be liked, to just be truly loved, to be with someone who just compliments you. I mean, I can see, you've been with somebody for a while, and after a while, maybe it slows down, but to like have never experienced it, it's just unfortunate. And I hope that Chris can keep it going. So Chris is optimistic to meet his in-laws. But her dad is grilling Chris hard, and I don't know why. You should have been doing that with her exes, the ones who won't even pay her a simple compliment. It's like he's trying to scare him off. And it's like you worrying about him and his background and all these things. When people pulling up stuff about her background and her finances and everything else. Yet Chris isn't concerned. He's going in there optimistic with open arms. She signed up for this. Like, I'm so glad that my father is not this way. So his family is giving her advice, but they seem to welcome her. And then they find out later on they're going to Jamaica for their honeymoon. And Nicole asks Chris, if he thinks they'll have sex on the honeymoon. Just let it happen. Like, I don't want to do it when you sitting up here asking. Like, just let it flow. Like, just get there and see. Do I think they will? Absolutely. They got tension between them. They both been waiting for a good amount of time. So they the ones with the most chemistry. Just let it happen. Don't rush the process. So Nicole says she hasn't been on vacation in years. And Chris begins to open up about the last time he was on vacation. He said he went with the ex, and ironically, it felt like he was with a stranger. He said he feels like he felt more like he was with a stranger with his ex, who he knew, than with Nicole. Like, they're more intimate. And she just wasn't all that into him. Wouldn't touch him, wouldn't talk to him, didn't like him, nothing. Which is a shame, because it just feeds into that nice guys finish last types of thing. And Chris seems like a nice guy. Nicole shares that, she's afraid that people just won't like her for her. And Chris asks if she had any bad relationships. Honey, haven't we all? Or at least a good majority of us. She breaks down and says her ex told her she wasn't, good enough to be loved, and she wasn't lovable, and she believed him. And, he branded her by burning her arm with a cigarette. And so in every relationship after that, she always felt like she had to prove herself. And I'm seeing an influx of women feeling like they got to prove themselves to men. Like, what is this? We are still the prize. Like, just like they deserve to be respected and loved, so do we. Like, come on now, ladies. Let's pull ourselves up and get it together. It's hard when somebody tears you down, but you got to love on yourself before you can love somebody else. Chris kissed her on her burn mark, and that was a nice moment. Moving on to Shaq and Kirsten. I'm going to get it, y'all. I'm going to get it. So on the wedding night, Shaq carries Kirsten over the threshold. They both said they had a good night. Their families got along really well. Y'all families getting along is great, but do y'all get along? And I think Shaq even made mention of that later on. So Shaq tells Kirsten he wants to make things work, but she's hesitant. And he's questioning her about this hesitation. And she says she's just taking it all in. It's a lot. Honey, he know what's up. He know you don't like him like that. He know. And he tested by asking her for a kiss. Like she claimed she wanted with her homegirls in that bathroom last week. But she declines. She want him to, he didn't ask. And he asks and you say no. Kirsten, I'm trying really hard to like you. But the math ain't math and it ain't making sense. You don't like him, but give him a chance. Like he hasn't done anything wrong. Get past his bald head. So the next morning, Kirsten, she confirms they didn't have sex and says, I know everybody wants to know. Trust me when I say nobody was wondering. If we were wondering about anybody at all, we weren't worrying about y'all. Like, we know y'all ain't do nothing. You probably won't even hug the man. So they discuss nighttime routines while eating breakfast. Like sometimes she doesn't brush her teeth at night. She says sometimes she'll forget. He said he takes hygiene with his dental hygiene seriously. He wanted to be a dentist at one point. I wanted to be a dentist too. And I wish I would have pursued it, honey, because they making good money and yeah. Sometimes he forgets to take out his contacts. I can't do contacts. Y'all know I wear my glasses. And I just ordered 3 new pairs of glasses from Vooglam and Zelo. And I'm just trying to get a sponsorship, y'all. I'm just trying to get a sponsorship. I'm trying to speak it into existence, honey. That's why y'all need to subscribe. I need to get my subscribers up so I can get me a sponsorship to get some more glasses. So he says that he has to shower before bed. Me too. Ooh, I don't like when people be out all day and just flop in the bed. Like, oof. But then in the morning, you got to shower again because you got the nighttime sweats on you and whatever. And you got to wash it up off you too. So, I mean, it's a whole thing. So Kirsten meets with Shaq's uncle and friend, and she said that they instantly hit it off. But I can't tell. I mean, looks dry, and I don't know. Like, maybe it takes her. Her friend said it takes her a minute. Like, maybe it takes her a while to show her personality or something. But I'm not seeing it. She's concerned that he might be too busy for her. We'll see. We'll see. If you tell him about it and then it's still an ongoing issue, then it becomes an issue. In the meantime, don't make it an issue until it's an issue. Her friends unnecessarily grill him hard. Y'all friends signed up for this, okay? She wasn't getting it right out there in them streets on her own. She needed assistance. She signed up for this show. She got on it. Leave him alone. He seems like a nice guy. So after meeting with the family, Shaq's shares that, he feels like he always has to be strong and that he was going through silent battles that his family didn't even know about. And she's like, why didn't you share? And he just said, as a black man, he felt like he just had to be strong all the time. And so she said they both have to work on that, like the strength and not being vulnerable and showing emotions, etc. And that is always an ongoing thing. Like, it's like we're not allowed to just be. But not me, honey. Because I told y'all before, I'm a Cancer and I don't play about my feelings, okay? So they agree communication is the key. Later on, they find out they're going to Jamaica for their honeymoon. But Shaq drops a bombshell that we already knew. He said he has to present at a research conference in Jackson, Mississippi for school. And she's going to come with him. And so they'll miss the first day. She's upset. I don't think I like the way she handled it. Yes, I understand you're caught off guard. You're looking forward to it. You're excited about it. Like, why did he wait till then to mention it? But at the same time, in her defense, why couldn't they have just let her go to Jamaica with everybody else? And then he come the next day? Because she was just sitting in the room the whole time anyway. She wasn't like actually in there while he was presenting. So she didn't see everything he was doing. So if I'm just sitting in the room, let me sit in the room in Jamaica. I could sit by the beach by myself or at the bar with a nice Bahama mama or whatever, Jamaican me happy while I wait for him to arrive. I'm sure she would have been fine for the day. She said he got a lot of making up to do. What kind of making up are you talking about? Because you won't even let the man touch you. Moving on to McKinley and Dominique. So they get to their suite and have a little small talk about snoring, blah, blah, blah. And then Dominique says she brought a body pillow. So, no intimacy tonight. Okay. He helps her out of her dress, but as loose as it was looking in the back, she could have just shimmied it off. Like, she could have just pulled it down. You know what I'm saying? So the next morning, Max said all he did was cuddle. And while eating breakfast, Dom says she doesn't cook often because he asked her if she cooks. She's like, well, I'm single. I live alone. So I'm not cooking every day. But I like to cook. And she named a bunch of foods. And she mentioned catfish that she catches and cleans from scratch. And McKinley's face was tore up. He was like, catfish? What? I don't know if that's like a cultural divide that they're having. Because, yes. Yeah, we catfish. What kind of fish you like? He didn't even play it off like I'm open to trying it. He was like, catfish. Okay, McKinley. So McKinley meets with Dom's mom and grandma and another family member. And her mom asked if he's been engaged before. He said no. And that shocked grandma because she like, why are you out here single and available when women are just desperate and thirsty for a man? Like, granny, what? Not everybody is desperate for a man, grandma. But he said he's where he wants to be in life. Now he's ready to take this next steps. You where you want to be. On your best friend's parents' couch. That's where you want to be. Okay. So the other family member asked if he dated outside of his race. And here we go with the race thing again. We already talked about this yesterday. Where was the family member at then? He said he normally dates white and Latina women. He's gone on dates with black women, but it just hasn't gone anywhere. Like, he hasn't had no luck in that department. I don't know. I mean, if you showed them a picture of your mama, they know what's up. So I'm just sitting here like, because Mama is remarried to a white man who looked like he about the same age as McKinley. So I'm wondering if she grilled her own husband as hard, or her exes, because Dom's biracial, so maybe that's her type. So are you dating? Are you doing this with the men that you're dating? Because that's kind of awkward. I don't know. I've never been in a relationship. If y'all have, let me know. Would you find that awkward for somebody to keep asking about it? Like, can we just get to know each other? But moving on. I digress. So, Dom tells his family that her mom signed her up for this. And she starts giving reasons as to why she wanted to do it. The reason is your mom signed you up, honey. And you shouldn't be there. That spot should have been given to somebody who was really ready for this. But we'll see what happens. It's still early. Mac's mom reiterates that she was not in agreement with this. And then his mom asks, like, how would you feel if he wanted to move back to Michigan? Basically, it would be a no. She wouldn't go. So I'm sure his mother is trying to figure out how to get him back to Michigan. On the Sprinter van to Jamaica, or the shuttle, or whatever it was, Mac jokes that they had sex last night. And then he like, nah, I'm just kidding. Like, why you play so much? Then they get on the plane, and he's complaining because he's sitting in the middle seat. And he like, this is why I sit in first class. I don't do the middle seat. I'm all close to people, and I don't want to elbow room. Okay, bad and bougie. If you that bad and bougie, you can get your own place. But that's neither here nor there. And then that was the end of the episode. That was all 5 couples. Let me know what y'all thinking down in the comments. Let me know if y'all watched the after party. Be sure to subscribe and like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.